this week, as usual, starts with the weekly charts, and I have identified one, two, three, four, five, six potential game changer bars. That's a daily chart. Let's look at the weekly. The first of them is Euro Swissy. Now, I'm going to speed through these because they're very, very similar. I'm not going to trade any single one of them as on their own bar, if you like. I'm not going to trade the bar at all. Instead, I'll wait and see what happens at their various junctions with support and resistance. And at this point, I can't see why I'd want to jump into Euro Swissy. Yes, I can see a game changer bar there. Has come off its high, however, and I don't think there's too much reward. This looks to be very rangy to me, and I don't see a way to break out of that right now. So that one's a no for me for now. Not a massive fan of the euro anyway, and if the market is feeling a little bit tenuous, risk-offish, let's say, then I think we'll see a bit of strength come into the Swissy as well. So I'm not a massive fan of jumping into that one straight away. Euro pound is in, if we look at the monthly chart, is at a strong support level. I don't think there's any question about that one. The weekly chart is giving us, however, a big game changer bar to the downside. Couldn't possibly trade at this level because of what I've just shown you. We're bang on that support, a big move there back in 2019, about 3 years ago now. January 2019, it took off. I can't see this going straight through that level. So again, that's a no for me for now. However, if price were to come back up here, then we might have another crack at it at some stage, but it's a no for me right now. Poundcat is the next on the weekly chart, again giving us a game changer bar. Has come off its high again, so this is probably the best of them if you are wanting to trade a game changer bar, because it has got a nice little rejection of the monthly pivot, which has got 1 day remaining in its life. So therefore I can probably see double bottom sitting here off a base. There's no question. High. Is this the higher low? Maybe it is. Don't like the fact that it's come off its high, but I will be looking at this one pretty closely. And again, it's a bit tough for me to be going against the Canadian dollar. I say this a lot recently. There's good numbers on the Canadian dollar. Oil's at not all time high, but it's getting up there towards the 87 mark. I think it is around about there at the moment, or something of that nature. So I can not really get a great love affair with this one either, but I think technically it is the best game changer bars. Poundcat. Pound Swissy is next. Not too bad, coming off a support level. And for those of you who love inverted head and shoulders, there's one sitting there right now. Not for me really to trade off the bottom of that right shoulder, but should we get a pullback and a higher low, that would make sense to me to trade this long. A little bit of resistance in a confluence there at the top of that neckline, I'll call it. So you'd want to be careful of that one as well. But yeah, pullback required before I'd go long there. And we've got two more. Dollar yen is one. I don't like this currency pair to trade at all, but it'd be a game changer bar. There's no way I would trade that bar at that point. You're trading straight into the high, and it's a big bar as well. So if you fancy that at all, again, you'd be looking for a pullback before you traded it. And dollar sing, not quite as bad in terms of trading into resistance, but there is a horizontal level there, and it is a massive bar. So again, pullback required before I would look at trading that long. It does look, however, like there may well be more than a hint of a false break of that trade line. So pullback here makes sense to trade it long at some stage, just not yet. My watch list and preferred trading pairs this week will be Australian dollar versus the US dollar. Now, Australian dollar, and I'm only talking here from a technical point of view, because fundamentally it's difficult to get in love with the Aussie at the moment. However, there is on Tuesday an RBA statement, and the Aussie numbers that have come out recently might suggest to the RBA that it's time to change their rhetoric around not changing interest rates till 2024. So if that's said in the statement, that, let's say, next year or later this year, the RBA looks at raising their interest rates, then I can definitely see a rally on this pair. I'm not trading it right now, of course, but any sign that this is going to rally, there is a nice little double bottom sitting there. Any sign it's going to rally up here and give us a higher low in this vicinity, I would like to trade that long. You're going to trade into resistance, there's no question, but so you would need to be taking profit before these levels. But I think Aussie dollar is certainly one I'll be watching this week. If I can sneak an entry in before the RBA and get free trading, that would be absolutely ideal. Aussie dollar long, but watch it. It's not a jump in yet scenario. Cad Swiss is the next. There are three of these that I am following this week. Cad Swiss is a little bit. If I look at this chart, I can totally see that we've been in a long-term downtrend. Then I look at the base that we've come off and the failure of this to get through resistance. And now we put in a lower low and a lower high and another lower low, perhaps on the monthly chart. Maybe it's an equal low. I like that we've come back under this resistance area. Strong resistance through here at the 73, 75 mark, have come off a resistance trend line, triple top sitting there, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. The trick here would have been, and I think we mentioned this last week in Trading Buddies, we did have a nice tweezer top sitting there, but the monthly pivot was dead ahead and very, very difficult to trade that. Had you done so, you'd be in a bit of pain at the moment, but not out of the trade. I'm still looking to get into this, but I would love to do it as a false break of resistance. So I'd like to see price get up here, fail again at this level, get underneath the trade line, and then retest it. That's my cue to go short. So that's what I'll be looking for on Cad Swissy. The last one from me this week is pound yen. Now, the monthly chart should suggest to you, as it does to me, that this is a very strong resistance level. We have banged our head on this quite a few times. When it broke, but price comes straight back to it, goes into consolidation, bangs off it again, and goes into consolidation at this very level. Now, I'm not convinced that we're going to break out of that range that I just showed you. Sorry, I did the wrong thing there. There we go. I'm not convinced that we're going to break out of this range anytime soon, but I've already got 1-2 false breaks at that level on the weekly chart. Suggests to me that a lower high in here does bring us back down to the bottom of that range. So that's definitely one I'll be looking for. And we may even have it already on the daily chart. We go a little bit tighter on that. You can see that we've come back into the range. We've hit the monthly pivot, bounced off it, and now we're at the weekly pivot. There are worse trades to take on this planet, I can assure you, than trading that bar there short. Now, caveat around that would be, of course, Mondays, we tend to get gaps in the market. That could upset this scenario. If we don't get a gap in the market, I would most definitely be looking to trade short underneath this bar, say maybe 3 pips underneath it, put my stop loss. The weekly pivot won't be there, of course, but I would reserve my judgment as to where the stop loss will go exactly, but it'll certainly be above that candle, no question. And definitely taking profit at the monthly pivot or just above the monthly pivot and seeing if this can indeed go down to the bottom of that range. It'd be a nice little reward to risk if you can get into that and it does work. And at this point in time, that's probably my trade of the week. But like I said, gaps can do funny things over the weekend, and that may not be as good as it looks when we wake up tomorrow for a new market. All right, guys, thank you so much for your company for another Sunday market update. Thank you to Ash and George, and thank you to Mai, of course, for getting that recording up. It was a little bit touch and go whether we get George on screen here today, given some technical issues that we were having, but we did. Have a wonderful week ahead, guys. Don't forget there's lots of news coming up this week. Keep your eye on those if you're trading the smaller time frames in particular, and keep your eye on Trading Buddies tomorrow. We'll be on here from 2:55, 3:55. 3:55, Singapore and Hong Kong. Have a wonderful time. And those of you that we won't see tomorrow, Gong Hei Fat Cho, and have a wonderful Chinese New Year.